Hi everyone out there, it's Chris Dobbin here and I'm on the Talking Business Drive Home webinar. And tonight I'm really excited because an old friend of mine has come back to have a conversation with me and talk about unlocking the 5 branding channels where you can use your headshots. And a lot of you out there have a headshot and a lot of us use it for various things, and LinkedIn is something that I know, and a lot of our Rob members, one of the first things they do when they create their profile is a headshot is used with their logo and things like that. And so I thought it was useful to have the man that I have on tonight, Kosta, to talk us through what he does. And hey, Kosta, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Yourself, Chris?
Yeah, very, very well. And thanks for giving up your time and having a chat with me tonight about this, something that you've fallen into, but you've got a way that you got there. And of course I have a phone going off in the background, but tell us your little story while I hang up on this thing.
Sure, no problem. Thanks, guys. Yeah, well, I started my journey after high school as an engineer, electronics engineer, and I loved robots and building things and creating things. And then I quickly moved into working for Telstra, and it wasn't much creation. There was more working with other people's documents, and I wanted to create something from end to end, go from a dream, a desire, to something that was actually working, producing money, having an impact and a purpose. So I then changed to project management. So that went on for 14 years. And in the process, I accidentally fell into photography because I grabbed a camera, took some photographs, I loved it. So I was like, oh, well, let's just play with this. So I'm self-taught as a photographer. I've gone many courses, created my own darkroom, black and white photography. We've got medium format. It's just, we all went nuts. Half the time I was either working or shooting or learning or growing my skill set. So after 14 years as a project manager and engineer, I thought, okay, I quit because it didn't have the same connection or value as the company I was at. And then I thought, what do I do now? I know how to shoot or start a business in photography. Yeah, okay, sure, start a business. So get a website, a half-assed sort of website and a phone number, and then like nothing's working. So from that was a journey that started 14, 15 years ago now. I started with black and white artistic nudes. That was working to some degree, but not really well. Started going to a lot of networking groups, as you do when you get into business, and there's groups all over the place. And then everyone's asking for headshots and executive portraits and photos of my business. I'm like, everything but artistic nudes. So I thought, okay, let's work on what is it going to take to create good looking headshots. So I reverse engineered what I felt was the standard of the time, which is back in, early 15 years ago, long time ago, which is a different look to today, let me tell you, 15 years ago. So I reverse engineered, came up with a male and a female lighting setup, and then off we go. So then we were doing headshots once a month, as we've got reintroduced now, where you come in, get your headshot done, and it's a one-on your product. Then we started doing a lot more branding portraits, building an iconic look for our clients, so that when they're on websites, on their social media, when they're building their brand, they've got the right images to do so. So we moved heavily into that area. In the same time, we were doing weddings, we were doing family portraits, cats, dogs, commercial work, all sorts. It was in about 2010 where I decided, that's it, I've had enough of everything else except the branding side of it, and work with solo entrepreneurs and SMEs, and then cut everything out of the website. So we had like weddings, family, fashion, glamour, everything else, plus the business side, cut out all of that. And it said no to a lot of business and focused my efforts and my equipment and the time and the funds and the marketing just in the business world, working with solo entrepreneurs and SMEs to build their brand. And we've been doing that exclusively ever since 2010.
Right.
It's a long time ago now, yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. No, I guess the funny thing about that is the boom of social media and online has changed again effectively how some of those portraits you took, even though I guess the photo is the same, it's how it's used is different. Like they're still essentially, I'm assuming, which you're going to show us a bit later, is some of the styles and how this is applied to different mediums. And I guess, when people see that, they'll see that, one photo can be used across many mediums in different ways, but keep that brand consistent with the message you're trying to get across. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So the highlight of tonight is we're going to do a bit of a countdown from 5 to 1, and we're going to work through these 5 branding channels and what they are. And some of them may be obvious, but again, what you're going to also expand on here is how those photos are used in each one of those mediums. And as you've touched on, is the last 15 years of how you've gone about this. So it's not going to be, just something that's popped up last year. We've got a fair bit of history to work through here, which is great. So do you want to start off, I guess, with number 5? What is at the top of that list?
Well, yeah. Of the 5 branding channels where you can use your photographs, the 5th one is the one you can control the least, and that is traditional and digital media. So that is TV, that is physical print, newspapers and magazines, and of course the digital side, which obviously has happened in the last 10 years at least, is now the magazines like Issue, other people's magazines. It's the media that once you provide your images, your videos, your content, you're essentially at the mercy of the person who's editing that work and using it in their creation of their magazine, or their publication. So when it's a traditional magazine, and that's a really good one still to get into, when you can get into a CEO or a install, whatever the magazine is that your clients or your target market is looking at, or at least glancing at, that's the one you want to be seen at, or seen in, I should say. And the magazine's going to require not just a headshot, because that's never enough. It's always a range of images showing you in action, not just a standard headshot with a white background. Horizontal, landscape and portrait, because they need the variety for one, so they can have multiple photographs in the article, and number 2, they need variety in images so they can choose which ones work and chop them up as they wish. So don't expect the image that you provide in all its entirety will be used. Expect it to hopefully be used and hopefully get as many as you can, but they will start chopping it up to make the image fit the text and the overall format, because it's someone else's format.
Which fits in perfectly with what Nicole was talking about last week in her webinar, where she was talking about, once you've got your name and they know who you are and they're trying to use your story, that secondary content that helps fulfill the, who you are, the brand, the personal brand that you are running, whether it be a brand or the company brand, and having those photos. If you have them in your back pocket, it sounds like you're pretty much on your road to, getting a successful campaign going.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a number of clients who have had photo shoots because they have been accepted into their work or the article submitted into a magazine, but their photographs were no good. And it wasn't because they weren't at 300 DPI and a CMYK profile. That's one thing when you're shooting, to make sure you provide the format that a traditional magazine needs, not just what comes out of an iPhone. They need a specific format, and it's more than just high res. So once that's worked out, you also need variety. I had a client who won an award as a young executive executive PA, and it was in the magazine. So she and 3 other ladies were in there as well. And you should see the article had little photographs from everyone else, and my client had the big photographs in the front, the news that's coming, and in the actual article, all the images were used with herself in action, with her 2 bosses as well, because there was variety. It was the way they wanted it. And they had, it was shot professionally, not just, I'll just have a couple of happy snaps against the wall. The magazine, their brand needs to, whatever you're providing, needs to boost their brand and not be, lowering it down, a distraction. So anything that's not high resolution, doesn't look good enough for them to put their name to it, it just gets rejected. I mean, I've also had clients whose articles weren't put in the magazine because they didn't have the images to go with them. So what they do, so that you may, if you're lucky, you may have the journalist, photographer come out really quickly. We're coming out this day and time, we're going to take some headshots, some photographs. You're not ready. You haven't groomed yourself, hair, makeup, all the rest of it. No one's coaching you to create great branding photographs. It's just, I need some shots for the magazine. But clients who have gone, oh my God, my photographs have been in magazines and I look horrible. I need a new set. This is never going to happen again. So prevention always is better than the cure. Make sure you're ready before you go out there And being ready means that you can approach magazines, a traditional magazine, and digital ones as well, because you're prepared. If you have your checklist, you have your content, you have your headings, you have your landing pages, you have your photographs, all these things are ready. That's what they're looking for. People that are ready, not to help you build your brand, to help you build their brand, because it's their magazine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, so that's again something that Nicole touched on last week around knowing your medium and media, because if you can touch into what they're looking for and you have what they're looking for, it makes their job easier. So just want a quick shout out to the attendees out there that are there. There's Jody, Shay, Phil, and a few others out there. If you have any questions for Kosta, feel free to just chuck one at us, because we're more than happy to go off script and answer your questions as they pop up. So Kosta loves a little bit of randomness. He loves to be put on the spot. So shoot away when they pop into your head and ask a question. So we've done number 5. Is that done, or are we moving on to number 4 now?
Yes, traditional and digital media. Yeah, look, that's the one you have the least control. So make sure you're not presenting one image. You give the variety that best represents you, that helps the brand of the magazine grow as well, and that you're prepared. The thing is, don't get a photo shoot. I've had a magazine on the call. They need photos. When can we get it done by? They need it tomorrow. I'm like, that's too late. Prevention is always better than the cure. So make sure you're ready. And another way to have them ready is have them on your website, media. Right? This is what I talk about. These are my the presentations. These are the photographs. They know by you having it on your website that you are ready. So when they're looking and doing their homework, they're not going, oh yeah, nice one headshot in this big website, but are you ready? So you need to want to be getting the phone call to say, hey, we want you to do this and this, and you're going, yes, I've done it. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
No barriers.
And we had this conversation last week with Nicole around the fact that most people think they can't afford this kind of thing, or they think it's out of their realm and all that kind of stuff. And we don't need to get into pricing yet, because there's a special offer at the end of this. So I'd love people to stick around and see what comes up at the end. But just it is an affordable process, isn't it? And generally, you as you said earlier, there's a number of shots you can take, but you have your key shots and you've got your key price points for that kind of thing. And if people are making an investment into this, as Nicole highlighted last week, the reward for that investment is, I'm not going to say it's tenfold, but it creates opportunity that you don't have if you don't have them. Is that the best way to look at it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine if you got one article in at least a half decent magazine that you could say, look, I've been featured in this magazine. So one article, maybe 10, 20 pages into it, but you're in that magazine. That gives you a lot more credibility than someone who doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Wasn't selected. Of the many other business coaches, sales coaches, etc., there's thousands of everything that we do. To be the one selected, even if it's a one-off, let alone if it's ongoing.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that as it's a credibility piece, right? You people say, oh, you need a book, you need this, that, and the other. Getting in a magazine, that's huge as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we may come back to traditional and digital, because it's going to sort of filter its way through everything we talk about tonight. But what's number 4 on that list?
Number 4 is your promotional marketing. This is where you have a bit more control over what you do, because you may look at your books, physical printed books. You have business cards. My business card is a fold out and it has my photograph in there as well. You've got your pamphlets, flyers, covers of folders, pull-up banners. We have small pull-up banners, A3 size, that we put up on our expo table. The big ones that you have as well. This is the stuff you will naturally go to a physical printer to get done. So this is your expo. You're presenting on stage. You're handing out material. There's still the tactile stuff. That still works, right? You still need to get your face in front of everyone, right?
Yeah. Okay. Now, most people would say, oh, I don't need that, but you have given us a couple of examples there. I mean, real estate agents are clearly an industry that have their heads on pretty much every card or any stuff they use. But, in our group in Rob, we have a number of different industries that may not think that they need that headshot. Have you come across those sort of industries where traditionally that isn't the case, but once you've taken the shots, all of a sudden they find ways to use it in these promotions?
I mean, a lot of the people I work with, a lot of the clients provide a service, and they don't have pills and products to sell. Like Nike going to show a whole heap of runners and people living the lifestyle of that Nike talks about. You're not going to see the person who runs Nike, but the people that find not business owners. If you're a sole entrepreneur, you'll be branding yourself. Okay, you're the key, the founder of the company. You need to have that brand first, because there was Steve Jobs came before Apple, came before the Apple Mac, right? Yeah. So you need to be that you have that founder personal brand created. Yeah. The ones that I find sometimes a bit difficult is if you're an employee, if you're a senior manager or a CEO, and some of those people think, oh, look, I don't need to have, I just need a photo for LinkedIn. The thing is, once you get up into the senior levels as well, you want to be headhunted. If you're not going to stay in the same company for the next 50 years, that's usually unlikely. You want to be moving around. Before you move around, you need others to know you, know, like, and trust you. So that comes from building your brand. Even if you're saying, okay, I'm just going to be on LinkedIn, here's a headshot. That headshot's got to be updated. If you're then writing articles, any information piece, anytime you want to show that I have a voice, I have an opinion, I want to be seen, you cannot be using the same photograph. It's different if it's a logo, the McDonald's logo, golden arches, they've been around for years. We all know that. But the people are changing, right? That you've got to keep that updated. So sometimes you find senior managers that they may not want to, but through recruitment agencies, they get them into our studio and they get a range of headshots and they're good to go.
Yes, and Shay, who's listening, is in HR, so she'd know more about this than anyone in this kind of scenario, and I'm sure it would be useful to have a nice headshot for certain situations in that sort of industry, guaranteeing. Okay, so number 3, or are we going to...
Number 3.
Yep.
Online marketing. So this is where you... we're going to talk the other 2 are online as well, but this is the online where you can take a bit more control over things like your email marketing, right? Not just first of all, your emails. You send out an email. We send many out every time. There's an email signature, which you should have at the bottom, just not your name. It'll have some other details, a photograph of you to remind them again, who is this person? Build a brand. I know you, I've seen you. That when you have familiarity, that helps to build loyalty. It helps to build trust. It helps to break down any barriers. So at the bottom of your email, plus any special offer you may have, a book that you've written, an ebook, like we have an ebook. So that little banner goes on the bottom, and an ebook has that information. So the ebook you send out, which is your electronic media, that should have a cover of whatever that book is, even if it's a couple of pages. A photograph of you. So the checklist that we have goes through many different ones. So you could be on online directories when you're speaking on stage. Like I'm going to a marketing seminar tomorrow, and that's got a number of different headshots. It's promoted electronically. So it's on other people's websites. It's still online, but it's not something that you can control that much if it's gone to someone else. But you can control at least the email marketing campaigns you send out, your email signature, ebooks. That's where the online marketing works.
Right, yeah, and I will shout out again to anyone that's listening to this that at some point at the end we will share some links to the 55 things that you've listed there, or you have in that bag of tricks that you can look at to where you can use these photos, which should be really helpful. So for somebody, it's a free download that you can get from this situation. Most people wouldn't think of using especially like the businesses we were talking earlier, but I think you've raised a really valid point, is if you use this headshot on your email footer, every time someone receives that email from you, there you are smiling back at them. And I guess next time I see you, I'm going to feel like you're a rock star and I feel familiar with you. It's that kind of thing, right? Yeah.
It's every time you see a logo, it's your branding isn't just like, oh, I've got one photo and I've got it in my hard drive. It's useless. People need to see it in the right way, in the right positions, and it needs to add to the value that you're providing, whether it's something on social media, whether it's an email signature, whether it's your business card. Just randomly put it somewhere. It needs to work with the rest of the elements as well. So it needs to be designed properly. Don't just. Sure. I see photographs on business cards, and here's a big business card. Your standard 55 by 90, and there's a little square. I'm like, what is that? You just did a copy and paste. There was no thinking. There was no design. My headshot on the business card has the background cropped out, so I'm actually floating around, and there's the, the purple and white background. So it's designed as part of the overall look.
Which we'll definitely going to show people this later, because I really am interested what you showed me in how these photos are used, which I think is going to be fantastic when people actually see what we're talking about in its action side of things. Just on a little sidetrack here, a lot of people would be listening to this going, great, I need the shot, I get all the reasons, but my confidence in me taking a photo. I'm really concerned about what I'm going to look like, what I'm wearing, what people are going to think of me, like all these, I guess, insecurities people have about having a photo taken. How do you overcome them? Or two, what do you say to people when they're saying these things to you?
So first of all, the photographs of you are of you, but they're not for you. They're for your audience to connect with you. If you want to try to sort of magnetic connection, you need to appeal to others. Stop appealing to yourself. It's not for mum and dad to put pretty pictures on the wall. It's for you to connect with your audience. They go, oh yeah, that's Kosta. Nice smile, nice guy. The trust has to be built up. So, and when it comes to, that's when the photograph's going out, their own confidence. Okay. The only thing we require for our clients to do is bring clothes, have fun. We do the planning beforehand. Is my engineering coming into the play? So we talk about what do you like, what don't you like, any things that you're concerned about. People are concerned about their teeth, their size of their eyes, their hair color, their weight, their shape, their colors. What do I wear? All this is planned beforehand on the phone. So on the day you bring the right clothes, I will style you. I will teach you how to pose, and I will teach you how to get the right expression.
Right.
So hence, I'm worried about, well, not worried, it's not a worry, it's the fun part. It's my job to make sure that I get the right photographs of you. So as long as you bring your clothes, want to have fun, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And not to bring too much attention to yourself and myself, but what we're doing right now is a good example of me having no idea what I'm doing with the regards to lighting. And I've got this thing up here on the side. I've got my little glow thing going on, and you've got a perfect white background. I can see your teeth clearly smiling away, having a good time. I can see your eyes. So I'm here to just, show how awesome you are at what you do. And I'm not so much. And I'm going to learn a lot from this as we go through this. So I'm learning as we go. So look, I came across that because a lot of social media clients I work with, I find that that's one of the biggest problems I have is that they go, here's a shot of me, and it is a happy snap they took at their daughter's birthday, and it's just not appropriate for what we're trying to do. Where the clients that I work with that have taken the time and effort to go through what you're talking about, generally they're the ones more successful in business. They're generally the ones that have attracted that audience they're after, and they've got that credibility. So it's becoming an easier and easier job for them to sell. And when I'm doing social media marketing for them, it just, again, has another level of credibility that comes with it. And again, that's why I brought you on tonight, because I really want to understand the walls people put up to actually not do this. And hopefully by the end of this session with you, they're going to understand that those walls shouldn't be there, because it's doing a lot of brand damage and potential business opportunity for them because they haven't done it. So
I mean, the fact that you're invisible when you're not out there, that's a big problem. Because as soon as you're not presenting yourself, your competitors are. Right? And if you may look at your competitors and go, that's rubbish, that's crap, I can do so much better. No one's listening to you while you're complaining in the office, and they're out there promoting themselves. Even though they may not look so good or be as good as you or whatever, they're out there, you're not. That's usually the biggest thing. Like, and a lot of entrepreneurs tend to be introverts. So we focus on, I don't want to be too loud, don't want to be too proud, I don't want to be out there too much, I do really good work. And the focus is on the thing they do as opposed to the solution they have for the clients, the problems they actually solve. So if you're in business to help other people, well, help them. So, but they need to know you. So let's talk about it. And photographs are a lot easier than let's say if you're on video. That's continuous. A photograph, you can get the one image out of the half an hour or 2 hours, whatever we're going to be doing, multiple images, and you use those images again and again. So you need to make sure that you're putting your business forward, and how do I help my clients? Because that's why I'm running my business. And sort of to get over yourself. Once you have fun, we get the images. We have our giraffe, emu, tiger process. So, and everyone laughs and has a good time. Although I'm not a comedian, but again, I engineer the fun and engineer good results. So that's what the client needs.
Fantastic. All right. So let's move on to number 2. What's number 2 on this list?
All right. Number 2, everyone's favorite: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, social media, right?
Right. Okay.
So you have access to a number of different areas where you can, on a social media platform, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, put different banners for events, banners for the actual site itself, different tabs you've got. There's many different places you could use it. And like, for example, our group, Branding for Entrepreneurs, every day there's a theme. So every day there is another reminder of what that theme is, not just in the banner up the top. There's a post that goes out again every single day. They're seeing my face, what the theme is about, colors and logos and branded into your style as well.
Yep.
There's lots of places. The checklist has many that you can use them. And it's not just the timeline. Emails, for LinkedIn, you create an article. Where's the photograph? I'm a speaker. Where are you speaking? Show me that you are speaking in front of many people and you're positioned as an influencer. You've launched a book. Show me pictures of you with people holding the book, you with the book itself. Yep. All these stock images you need of yourself, not to go onto a stock library and, let's get all the pretty people. They're not.
What about service-based businesses though?
Even more important.
Right. Yep.
Service is you. It's your knowledge, your experience. I'm not leaving you like I have an Apple Mac in front of me. That's when I go to an Apple store. I want an Apple good service. But the thing is, I'm going to walk away with the product, and I want this product to be good and last and work easy, etc. If you we do a coaching session, you work with a business coach. They'll talk to you. They'll advise you. It's up to you to do what you got to do. But they're not leaving you with stuff. They're leaving you with an experience, and you've got to sell that service. That's where you're really important to build your brand.
For sure, yeah. Now, so I know Jodie's on this call and she sells products. So in her case, product shots with her, with the products, outcomes of the product, all those kind of things could be quite useful. Yeah. And Shay, who's there, I can see she's in a service-based business, but she works with people. So I guess shots with her, like you said, working with people in the outdoors, having a meeting, whatever useful tips she can use to actually show the service she's doing is actually working with the people that she's working with, I guess, like illustrating it. Is that the kind of stuff you're talking about? Or
you also think about not just for example, you have a lovely headshot, a nice shirt, beautiful smile, right? A little bit of Photoshop, take off a few wrinkles, but not too many, right? That's a headshot, right? Then there's more photographs of me in action with hands going, more branding portraits. It could be on location, behind the scenes shots, or what I call man at work kind of shots. It used to be called years ago. It's you in action doing things. So I've had my assistant photograph me whilst I've been on photo shoots, working with clients. We've got us teaching them how to pose with the camera, pointing at the laptop while we're going through photographs. And these are all live. They're not staged. If they're staged, they can look a little bit too overly posed. So because it's live, you've got to be very quick and be able to capture it as it goes with the other lighting and everything else around you. But it makes it look like, it shows people what you do. Everyone loves to see behind the scenes. How is this created, as opposed to all the time the polished finished product. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so like with the headshots again with social media, like you mentioned, it's not just about that square image that sits in the corner. It's things that you use. And the examples I think you're going to show later is that one shot being superimposed over different backgrounds, colors, scenarios, product placement, whatever the case be. So there's various ways that this one shot can be repurposed. In saying that though, is it one shot or are we talking multiple shots to get the same message across? Like what's the usual process?
Look, as the minimum people, if you're on LinkedIn, you need a great headshot, end of story. However, if you're on LinkedIn and you're providing a service, you need to provide more of you, and that comes from more than one photograph. And it's not like, well, I have a color version and a black and white version of the same photo. No, that doesn't count. What counts is that you're wearing different outfits, different expressions. Like this photograph here is on the right-hand side, and I'm facing into the content. If this was positioned on the other side, that I'd be facing away from the content. So the frame, my eyes would come to me and then go off to the right. Okay, where it is now, it's perfectly positioned for a photograph that's facing into the content. So you've got to think of, okay, a headshot for social media has to be facing this way. If you're not front on, into the center of the content. And then you've got to be thinking, are we talking for or against, whether your messages are. So different photographs, because if you use the one and it's only a headshot, and by the way, just make sure you get your headshots where the shoulder is included. Like this one is a square, so it's cropped in. The actual image includes the shoulder. So otherwise, if you cut off the shoulder here, you are forced to put that image up against the edge of the whatever graphic you're going to create. When you've got the edge like it is now coming down here, then I can position one way or the other. So you've got a lot more flexibility. All these little factors are very important. So when you're using it, our output is someone else's input. It gives much greater flexibility than going, yep, tight, head and shoulders, crop, that's it.
Yeah, no, and again, I've done many a promotion for clients where they've had that cropped in shot you're talking about. And then when I try to put it onto the website and put that bit of copy that sits to the left or the right of them, and there's no room for that. So then I have to use visual tricks to put in a color or something in that side and fade it into the background so that we can actually do it. Where if you've planned ahead to take that shot because you know it's going to be for like a promotional activity, you move to the left, you move to the right, you put your shoulders in, you put shoulders out, you know, that kind of stuff. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's right. So when we do, like if it's a one headshot, it's always going to be facing this way. Oh, but my face is better the other way. Your people need to see the content and be framed by the image, whatever screen is, and you need to be facing into the content, not looking away, because your eyes will go to the eyes of the person and whatever direction they're going into. So I'm facing into the content. So we always do it this way. We always do it the other way as well. So you have variety, different clothes, how much of your body's in there as well, any. That's if you're just in the studio. On location, well, there's a lot more to work with as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, I'm very aware of time, and I'm not sure whether you want to go into number one or you want to show me the examples, but I think we should do number one. I think that's what we should do, and then give it all away, and then people can absorb that wonderful information of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Show you the examples, and I guess we'll go into recapping everything we talked about in this conversation today. Is that fine? So, number one, what are we using this photo for?
Number one is your company website.
Right.
Your company website and all of your landing pages. This is where you have the most amount of control. What is positioned when, how often you update it, when you change it, which images, the size, and again, as a contrast, a 300 dpi CMYK file, which would be in the many high megabytes or even gigabytes of image. So file size for a print magazine is very different to what goes on social media, which is the smallest, which is different to what goes on the website as well. So this is where you need to be thinking about your landing page. So if you go to the website, so you got what goes up the top. The first thing they see, there needs to be you, what you provide, what service, what's the outcome. You've got your team page, you've got your About Us page, you've got your blog page. You're writing articles. You can talk about, it's like, okay, Social Media Examiner, awesome. They can have the little cartoon sort of clips. They're not a person speaking. There's a person writing it, but they're offering you a solution. 5 ways to do this, 7 ways to do X, Y, Z. You're writing an article as a service provider. They need to see you, your article, your logo, your colors, your photo. Everything needs to blend in. It's like a recipe. When you've got all the right ingredients together, it's beautiful. When you mix and match and leave things out, you get a different taste all the time. Yeah. You get to a restaurant, get the same food all the time, must taste the same. Okay, so you want to give the same flavor, the same feel. It's all right if you change over time, but you're changing the formula. Just making some tweaks to it.
For sure, yeah. No, so the website thing became obvious to me when I said that out loud, but I think what was not so obvious is landing pages. So what you're really talking about there is when someone's created an offer and they want to take them to that page, having you there. Now, I can see personal brands, that's perfect, and things like that. Again, service-based situations, if you're buying from the real estate agent, this is again something I can see that is useful. We have, the Jodys and the Shays and a few others on this call today. Like what are they sort of looking for in these shots for these landing pages? Is it again something to it, or?
Yeah, so they're looking at, first of all, what's the message we're trying to send on each of the pages? If it's about us, let's talk more about us. Let's show more about us and what we're behind the scenes, what we get up to. the more the lighter side. On the homepage, it has to be ultra professional. So the first image they get is, okay, this is really good. If it's a meet your team page, whether it's individual photographs or whether it's black and white. Normally we just go black and white, so we can just change it up a little bit. They need to see you actually working with people. You're speaking on stage, you've written a book, you've got ebooks, so they need to see different photographs of you doing different things. It's like you go to a restaurant, what have you got? One item, boiled chicken. That's it. That's not good enough. People are walking out the door. They want different types of, if you go to KFC, for example, there's different types of items with chicken. But they're all with chicken, which is you. Okay. And so what are the different? You got KFC, you got the wraps, you got the nut. I don't go KFC, so
Obviously, I can tell by that actually.
Nuggets, you got wings, you got buckets of stuff, right? But chicken's the main ingredient. Right? So you're the main ingredient. You have to be there, but presented in different ways, in different flavors, because not everyone's going to consume your material in the same way.
Right.
Look and feel.
And do you mean like changing outfits? The way you present yourself. Okay, cool.
Like you don't run around with a one shirt and one pair of pants, unless that is you have McDonald's or someone has a specific outfit. You've got a uniform. Well, yes, that's the uniform. So even though you're in the uniform, what are you doing? You're working with people. You're talking. You're serving. We did chiropractors. We did medical surgeons. They've got to so they have a logo and all the rest. It looks pretty similar. They've got to build their brand. And what are you outside of the t-shirt, the logo?
Yeah, for sure. Great. All right. So we'll just recap there. The 5 were traditional media.
That's the
media, online marketing, social media, and then the final one was company website / landing pages that you send people to. So that's the 5 branding channels, right?
Promotional marketing is number 4 there. You've missed one spot.
Promotional. Okay, cool. Okay, so now that we've done that, I guess for those that are watching, most people may get this, but I think it's useful for you to maybe take us through some of these examples. And being mindful, we do only have about 5 to 7 minutes to go through this, and also let people know about this amazing offer that you're going to present to them tonight. So I will let you take over the screen if you can.
Okay, so you want me to take over? Very good.
Yes, go for it. And,
taking over is good. All right, so let me minimize my screen and be able to get you here and share the screen once. Okay. I was looking at you and you looked really good, and now I can't see myself. No, I'm not sure if I can share the screen from here. In fact, you've disappeared.
So I've stopped sharing and you should be able to take over.
If I do that, oh, there you are. There you go. Share the screen. There we go.
Love technology.
Oh, there we go. Okay, good. So now you can see my screen with all anything open. Okay. And I'll get myself out of the way here. Okay, so where do you start? Many ways you can start. Okay, let's go to email signatures. So let's go to this one here. I'm on Canva, by the way. Awesome tool if you want to create your own content for social media. Again, any tool, as powerful and as amazing it can be, you need to know how to use it. You need to have a good eye if you're going to design. If in doubt, get a designer. It's as simple as that, right? So here, it doesn't show that much. So for example, we use the book that we have, the ebook. Okay, so here's the ebook, right? This is one that Simao designed. So here's the cover of the ebook, right? Which is a separate image all itself. There's me, there's my clients. But again, you're creating different pages here, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to one where I've used myself. There you go. We go to all of our designs. As you can see, I've got lots of designs. Nothing's left. You do a lot in here. So
what I'm hoping people are picking up here is this: there's 1 or 2 key images being used across all these different mediums.
Yep. So here's an ebook. You got the ebook or information packs. It's another one. Every time you send an information pack about the products and services, what's the image you're using? So this image was not created with these purple circles and all the rest of that lovely background. It was created against it was a white background. Okay. So there's a blue jacket. Oh, there's me with the red jacket. Oh, now I'm folding my arms. You know, so you've got variety, right? Folding arms now, being able to, you know, look at the difference between this one. This one has my pants in here. It's the exact same shot. I've zoomed in. Why? Because it's a high resolution image and I'm using it for this work. There's the same headshot that I've got.
On for today, yeah.
Yep, exactly, right? And I've got many more. So let's go back to other folders. We can show you where I've used, okay, lots of designs. Okay, so here's the theme. This is, oh, do you want that? I need to go to a different design. Let's go back to home. So I'm going to show you the headshot, for example. You can use the headshot in many different ways as well. So let's go to, oh, here we go, the BFE group. Oops, not that one. We'll scroll up. Okay, so, no, not training photos.
You go back to where you were, all your designs, yeah, there. And then
there
just,
we go.
Yep.
All right, okay, so we go to the cover of the Facebook group.
Yep.
So many different elements, and they all need to be sized correctly. That's the other thing you got to be concerned about. So let's close that. So you've got all the words, takes a bit to load. There's the one headshot in black and white. There you've got the color version as well. Just going to go back up here. Right. Different images. There's the color version. Now you can see, again, obviously this other stuff wasn't in the photograph. Photograph against the white. Now, photographed against the white, cropped out, because you need to make sure the photographs are not just with the background that you've got, it's cropped out as well, which gives you the ability to grab this photograph. Look, I can move it around, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's one thing we talked about. Actually, let's just replace it. See the shoulders? They have to be in the image. If they were cropped here, if it was cropped to here, I have to use it there. And the other thing is the, see where I'm facing? My shoulders are facing this way. My head's facing towards the camera, but the shoulders facing into the center, not the other way around, right? So you need to make sure that the images, you're not always going to be putting them on the left. Sometimes they'll be on the right. So you need to make sure you use the right ones where they match the overall design. Yeah, so there's a few considerations. But see, because you know, when we do our workshop as well, I'll give lots of examples of how clients have used the photographs. And you know, you position yourself 1/3 on over here and the other 2/3 on the other side of the image to create the text, or the other way around. But you've got to use the right images that work.
Yeah.
Everything is like a recipe. Everything has to work. Too much salt, too salty.
Yeah.
I'll show you the last one here, which has the headshots, which was down here. Not that one. That could be this promotional one. There's many different ones we do. Okay. So yeah, this is another one. Oh, that's the banner of the.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's me again. So there's a crop version and another crop version.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much variety you can get when it's not just a color. High res color, that's not enough. High res, low res, color, black and white. Our IKON images sort of look as well. Crop it out as well. You want variety and versatility rather than saying I'm stuck with one thing.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so look, we're going to have to wrap up, unfortunately. I was really getting excited about some of the things you're showing there, but I think people have got a good idea of what we talked about and then seeing how it's being put into implementation.
Yep.
Now, you have an amazing offer for anyone that's listening tonight. So do you want to maybe talk me through that? And if you've got the links there, put them into the chat, and the people that are there tonight can actually grab that.
Sure. Did you want me to go straight onto that page?
Yep, go into that page, and seeing as you're sharing your screen, we can go there.
Just jump onto the page. So on our page here, on the IKON Images page, there we go here. LinkedIn headshots, that's what I wanted. Yeah. So to get everyone started, you need at least one great headshot. You're heading into 2020. You realize it's the start of a new decade. Wow. And you need to at least have a fresh new one. If you haven't got one recently, let's make sure we have that happening. Here's some examples of ones we've done. And you design it, we do a 30-minute photo shoot in the studio where you bring your clothes, we have fun. and we create the image. So you see the images as we go along. There's no surprise at the end. I hate surprises.
Yep.
Unless there's something like, here's a Maserati, free for you, thank you.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. I want to make sure that you are happy and you love the photograph before you leave. Then when you get the photograph, you're not only getting color and black and white, but the offer we have here is the extension to this pack. I'll just go down to the bottom here, which is not just the photograph in the different sizes, in the different formats, but you get, which is for $195, you get this part here, the headshot extension pack. Now, with the extension pack, which is another $55, you get the image cropped out in all the different colors and all the different formats. So you're ready for social media, your website, online marketing, your traditional and digital media, all the 5 areas that we covered. And with the versatility that you need, that if you're at least going to have that one headshot, you're going to be able to use it on Canva in a variety of different ways. And you're not going to be stuck with a tightly cropped headshot that doesn't really work for more than just LinkedIn or a little photograph that you put on a social media.
Right. Yeah. Now, this is something that not everyone can get access to. So I guess I'll share the link somewhere when we have the time, and people will be able to get this. But that was one of the offers. Was there another one there?
It was this one here for actually getting you started and getting the headshot.
Yep.
The other one was the, here we go, the branding checklist.
Yep.
So you've got the access to even some information about, why image is important, what Google has said, what the current research is saying. But importantly, getting the list of 55 different places where you can use the photographs to boost your image. Now, even if you just start using what you have on those, yes, there's more content to create. Well, if you're going to get out there, you need to create more information. You got to feed the people with your great stuff. So yes, get onto Canva, create some out there, work with Chris, get your social media working, but you need content, right? One thing I see web designers, they loathe is, why is the project not completed? The client hasn't given me enough content, no photos, no videos, the words are wrong. It's not the structure of the website that's ultra hard. And if you see an Apple website, all the images look beautiful. Text, photo, the structure is pretty basic. It's simple, we can all do that, but without the imagery, we're not selling a damn thing. So you've got to build your brand and let people allow the process of the journey of going, knowing you, liking you, and trusting you, and then they'll buy from you.
Yeah. So to all attendees, I've just put the links in the chat there for you if you're wanting to go have a look at those links you're seeing on the screen. Now, there was an offer that you were presenting to people as well if they use a special code.
Yes. Okay, as you can see, this is the landing page because there's nothing up top.
Yep.
If I go back one, it is the LinkedIn headshot. So it wasn't just the $195 for the color and black and white photograph ready for social media. It's the extension pack. So that's the one that gives you the cropped image.
Yep.
And all the different sizes as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. Okay. And that code was?
Oh, sorry, the code, yes. So the code, which will be available 30 minutes after this call, is ROB, ROB-VIP.
ROB VIP.
ROB VIP.
Okay. So anyone that's listening to this at any point will be able to log in half an hour after this this release, which won't be tonight. It'll be tomorrow sometime. But for those that are on the thing, knowing that in the next half hour, you'll be able to jump on and go ROB VIP, and you'll be able to apply for that LinkedIn headshot for your social media and get the $55 extension pack with that, inclusive of that price, which is a fantastic offer. And I really do appreciate that from your Kosta this evening. And we're running a little bit over time. So we started perfectly on time and we've gone a little bit over. So I appreciate everyone hanging around with us to the end. Kosta, thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to talking and seeing more of you around in 2020 and through other things we do over the next period. But thanks again for your time tonight.
Pleasure. Thank you, mate. Take care.
No problem. Take care of yourself. And I will jump back and I'll take over the machine from you so that I've got the screen.
There you go.
And there we go. And I will stop sharing. And thank you to everyone for being here this evening.
All right. Thanks, Chris.